And we are back on the Sleepless Pod.
We are back, baby.
Yes, we are. And this week we have the privilege of being joined by Laura and Sarah.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So I guess to
Thank
start, do you want to introduce yourselves a bit for the listeners and tell them a bit about what you guys are doing?
Sure. I'll go first. So my name's Laura, and I'm here with my co-founder, Sarah. And we do many things. We're both people who wear many hats, but together we co-founded Fashion Forward Meetups, and we are bringing Fashion Forward Meetups to the studio in 3 weeks. It's very soon.
Yeah. 22nd and 23rd, right, Robin?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a bit about myself. I am an artist, an educator, a influencer, a little bit of an entrepreneur. I do a little bit of everything, and I'm very passionate about all the things that I do. But the thing that ties all of those things together is that I'm very big on helping people have a platform to share their story and giving artists an opportunity to be able to connect to other people and get their voices heard. I'm also very big on social justice issues, so a lot of my art focuses on that. And with my education, I run a ESL service for kids with learning disabilities, where we have an integrated curriculum with science and art together so that they can learn English while having really fun times.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes, I'm next. My name is Sarah Samantha, and Laura and I, we've known each other for a really long time.
10 years.
Yeah, we've known
Wow.
each other for 10 plus years, and we both have so many passions, and a lot of them are creative. We're both educators, teachers. And so Laura and I, we started working together with Fashion Forward, and then through doing a lot of fashion things, I started getting back into music. And so now I also do flow with my other business partner, Frizzy Astro. So we're kind of merging fashion with music all for one weekend for music artists.
Which
here
is
at Sleepless
exactly
Studios.
what the
Yeah.
studio is made for. Yeah.
Exactly. No,
We're really excited, honestly.
We're
So
really looking
excited.
forward to having you guys in, and should be an action-packed weekend with all of the things, like you said, mixture of music meets fashion, meets creativity. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's what we're all about here at Sleepless. So I guess let's go back a little bit. So tell us about the beginnings of Fashion Forward and Flow as well. Like where did it all begin?
So for Fashion Forward, I actually approached Sarah with the idea. I had an experience where I was intensely cyberbullied for winning a modeling contest by the other contestants in the contest. Escalated to the point where the police were involved without getting too much into it. You can tell it was
crazy.
bad. And a lot of people were telling me, like, don't worry, this happened to me too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did this happen to you as well? Like, all these people were saying that they had been cyberbullied, or they were bullied by a girl at their school, or, you know, they were bullied by the boy on the football team. And I was like, how did I not realize that bullying was such like a big issue? Because I went my whole life, like, you know, people made fun of me as a kid, but it wasn't like anything this intense, like that made me depressed and feel like upset. So I wanted to show my audience, because I am an influencer and I do have quite a large following, that you can use your art to combat these issues. So I made a video where I used the comments that this girl who started the bullying had made about me. So I wore a trash bag, I covered the room in trash, and I just took really cool photos and basically said, like, I have the confidence to wear the trash bag and own the comments that you are saying, and still be myself and show you that I can still be me. You haven't done anything to me. I'm still gonna be this artistic, fashion-loving person, and there's nothing you can say that's gonna change that.
Right.
So it went viral, and then it ended up on the news. And Sarah had mentioned to me that she was going through some similar stuff, like feeling like there was a bit of like an identity crisis almost with
And just the lack of safe space
Yeah.
in the creative community.
Like, there was a
for
lot of-
freelance people, especially.
So for somebody who is, let's say, going through cyberbullying, like, I think, you know, to talk to somebody on the other side or get help from somebody on the side, what are some of like ways you navigate it? Like, you talked about owning like some of the things like that you did through your art, but like, what are some of the other things somebody could do that could make it like more manageable, I suppose?
I think it happened to me during COVID, so it was very isolating and it was very depressing. And I like shut down Instagram and was just texting friends. I think just talking to your friends and realizing that actually you're not alone everybody is having these problems. And like doing research into why people do these things, like why people bully, why people attack other people. And through the research that I had done, just because I was very curious, I found that like 2 things really stood out for cyberbullying. One was like a lack of diversity and inclusion in media, which really hit me hard working in the fashion industry, knowing that like I'm the perfect sample size, I am blonde, I fit every requirement, and never really thinking like, well, what about the story of like the plus size woman? Or what about the story of the minority? How come I'm not seeing them? And they're like the biggest target group for cyberbullying. So that was where Fashion Forward started stemming from, was there needs to be a space where these people can come out, feel beautiful, and be heard and get their message shared. And I think too, people who are being cyberbullied, the other sort of biggest issue that I found was that people, like as I said, didn't have a place where they could let that anger out. They were just holding it in. And so actually giving these people who have this pent up anger, instead of taking it out on others, making art about it. Like maybe you're upset about the economy or the war that's happening right now, and you just feel the need to hurt somebody. Instead, you can make something beautiful. You can go make a song about it. You can go and take some really cool photos inspired by this theme and make a difference in someone's life instead of hurting someone else.
And that's one of the missions of Fashion Forward too, is we want to showcase diversity and inclusion, and we want to flip the industry on its head, as we like to say, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
We want the representation. We want the plus size models. We want all ethnicities coming out, all ages and stages of life. So yeah, that's
our youngest
That's our
attendee
vision.
was 4, and I think our oldest was 67.
yeah, like it's
Yeah.
so,
Wow.
so cool
Yeah.
having such a variety of people coming.
It's a very interesting concept that somewhere at some point somebody decided like this is the sample size we're going to take from, when in reality like you're shutting out, like if you think about a business as well, it's like you're shutting out so much of the market. Like you're making it like unattainable, or you're like, well, that's not me, so I'm not going to buy that product. It's a weird way it's gone about things.
Well, think of how much money they're making from people trying to meet that standard, right?
We've had the privilege of working with a lot of designers who are very flexible. It's one of our standards is that if you are not working in all sizes, then we cannot work with you. And we've had our last event, the designer that came out, he was doing patterned prints, and the model came to me and she said, I don't want to wear this because it's a pattern. And I was like, no, this designer knows how to work in plus sizes. Just try it. If you hate it, we'll change it. And she came out and she was like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm buying it right now. I'm gonna take this home. You were right. So it's a huge market, as you said. And I think that hopefully through things like Fashion Forward and other brands and initiatives knowing this, things start to change.
And do you think the fashion industry in Toronto in general is like becoming better at being inclusive, or is there still a lot of work to do there, or?
I found when we started Fashion Forward, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that it's been like almost post-COVID that we've seen a lot more diversity and inclusion in the industry, a lot more LGBTQ plus models, plus size models.
We're having
seeing a bit
shows
more.
now too, like Indigenous Arts Fashion Week or like
Right.
Asian Fashion Week that never existed pre-COVID. So I think that there's a possibility that a lot of people experienced what we experienced during COVID and are pushing the same message now. I don't know if it's just in Toronto, but we're a very multicultural, diverse place.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then a bit on Flow.
Yeah, so Flow is a company I co-founded with Frizzy Astro, who sadly couldn't be here today. But
Shout out to him though.
Shout out to Frizzy. But for just over a year and a half before doing Flow, I was running showcases, and I wanted to continue to build. So Frizzy and I started to continue doing that together. We had our second one this past May, and we basically have a similar vision to Fashion Forward, but for music artists. We want to basically provide a platform, especially a cost-effective platform for artists because we know how costly it can be to start out. So we basically throw shows and we have artists from all over Toronto coming out. We have some visual artists, we have music artists, dancers. So yeah, we're really, really excited about this event because I actually went to a camp last year, a songwriting camp, and for me as a music artist, it was just so eye-opening into what I could do as an artist working alongside other artists collaboratively. It's just like you learn and you even write songs in a different kind of way because you're in a different space and energy.
Right.
So really, really excited to do this collaboratively between Fashion Forward and Flow. I think it's going to be really great because like I said, it's so expensive for artists to, get themselves out there, get the content, get the recording, get the sessions. And, I think this is going to be a really great weekend for artists to come out, network, create, and it's not going to break their bank. So it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Flow
No.
is also like really new as well. Like you guys have had what, 3-4 events now?
Yeah, we've had 2 now.
Two
now.
two
Over-
events, and
Over
like
a
they
year
have
or
taken off in the last like 2 months.
2 months. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
okay.
Laura.
Yeah,
no,
they're taking off really fast, guys. Pay attention.
Yeah.
thank you.
So-
Thank you.
So these are also are they shows as well, or are they more workshops for the listeners? Just to try to understand, like if are people like our event together aside, but generally the flow Sounds by the City, is it like more of a workshop or is it more like kind of like a show people attend?
So what I envision it to be is I just want to have a space where artists can come together, create, and gain knowledge. So like Laura said, this was only our second event in May and it went really, really well. This event happened to be a showcase kind of format. So we had performances. It wasn't a workshop, but through networking, you can learn a lot, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So there was a lot of networking happening, and so this one will be our kind of more first workshop, where we'll have the sessions going and have songwriters coming together and collaborate. And I think it's going to be really, really cool because I've seen a couple of them in the city, and as an artist, it felt really good. So I'm having a good feeling about it.
The shows are also really cool, and it's not just limited to like music artists. You had
Yeah, we
live
have visual
painting,
artists
visual
too, yeah.
artists, photographers who display their work. So
We had a
it's
fashion
very
designer
cool.
come as well, and a couple models shoot in the studio space during the intermission as well. It was really cool. Like I think both of Laura and I's goal is to have all creative things going on in a space, and I'm just so excited that we actually get to do that for this event.
Yeah. Well, we're really looking forward to these are the sort of events and workshops. We talked about hosting when we were coming up with the idea for Sleepless, so it's great to, get you guys in here, and hopefully you'll be the first of many. And yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, June 22nd, 23rd. Right, Ron? June-
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the
So-
perfect space
yeah.
for it. It's,
Yeah.
it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be. So one of the things I know, Laura, you were also recently a panelist on Elevate and spoke about entrepreneurship unfiltered, raw conversations, and stress and mental health.
I did
So-
actually, yeah. Thanks for
So-
noticing.
See, we do some
You
research.
guys did
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
research? Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that kind of drew me, you want, and maybe this is ruins other panel interviews, but what are some of the unspoken elements that you kind of touched on as kind of like a teaser to that thing? I was interested to know.
So at Elevate, it was also a really great event. It was a room full of women entrepreneurs. A lot of them were moms. A lot of them were new entrepreneurs. Some people who were veteran entrepreneurs. And I talked a lot about being able to like ask for help as an entrepreneur. I think a lot of people, especially women, get into this idea that they have to do all of it themselves, every single thing. And I definitely have suffered with this, like even just reaching out to Sarah to be like, hey, do you want to do this with me? I thought she was going to say no and be like, it's not something she wants to do or it's not a good idea. But she was like, no,
We were both
let's
thinking about
do
it.
it.
Like, it
Like
was
we have to
crazy.
do it. And I was like, okay, good. But that idea of being a female entrepreneur is often daunting because it's an industry dominated by men. And so breaking down those barriers and making sure that you're heard and seen is sometimes quite difficult. So asking people to help you who have resources was a big thing that we touched on. I also noted that people who do their 9-to-5 job and don't want to do anything creative and are happy and comfortable with their 9 to 5 job, like, you know what? Good for you. I wish I could be you. His life would be so much easier. And it's about finding what makes you happy, no matter what you're doing. And that was the big thing, is just figure out what you want to do, how you want to do it, and just go for it full force.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know, something in entrepreneurship that's very true as well is that it is very male dominated. Like, what of like now, but we are seeing some green shoots for sure. Like, what are some of the things, I know you talked about asking for help, but what are some of the key differences for that a man could do to help a female entrepreneur? I think it's important to get that out there as well for people to know, like, what can they do to support?
Listen until we're done speaking. That's it. Like, honestly, like one of the things that women actually came up and talked to me after that event was just, how do you be heard in a room full of men? And part of me was like, I just assume everyone's listening to me. They let me finish, but I realized that I have a bit of an executive presence when I come into a room, and I am prepared to fight any of the men on what they're saying. If I disagree, I'm okay to debate. And I think a lot of women have been taught, do not debate. If a man talks over you, just stop speaking. So if a man is able to let us finish, counter the argument once the argument has been made, I think it makes a woman entrepreneur feel a lot more comfortable in that space.
Okay, very good to know. And on that note, one of the themes I see as well, I mean, if you look at Tom and I both love electronic music and we're very into DJing, another key theme is like, it's a very male dominated industry there as well, but there are more women coming through, but I know that it is a challenge. Leaving maybe some of sex aside, what are some of the challenges that you're hearing from artists in Toronto? Like, what as a general, what are some of the things that you're hearing kind of on the ground doing all these things that, you know, people are needing and are challenged with?
You know, I think that affordability is a huge thing, and I think that the city is like starting to address that with like spaces like this. It's so cool what you guys are doing. I think that the city, you know, like you were saying, you were asking about workshops, and I feel like there aren't that many educational things for artists in the city. So I think it's coming, but I see a lot of more like open mics and like, you know, kind of more or less open-ended things, and I feel like targeted workshops will be super cool in the city, and I feel like that's something that definitely could help artists out in the future, and I feel like it could definitely happen here with you guys.
Well, that's what we're here for.
I think too, to like almost add to that as well, is people when they come to Fashion Forward, they always say they feel like they're part of a family, and they're not getting that in other places, whether that be their own family, their friends. They're not feeling understood in whatever space they're in. So when they come to Flow, or they come to Fashion Forward, or one of our other initiatives that we have set up and put in place, they feel like they're part of a community. And I think that that's something really interesting that you guys are doing with the co-working space, and getting people to just work beside each other. Like, it would be so nice, you know, when I'm working, to be able to turn to someone and say, hey, is this a good idea? What do you think?
Yeah.
And I think people are lacking that as well.
Yeah, well, that's why we wanted it to be a real collaborative space as well. So, I don't know, somebody might be shooting photos in the studio, come out and bump into somebody who is just DJing, and the DJ might go, are you a photographer? I might need some shots too. Or, you know, everyone can collaborate on different things all in the one space together. So yeah, that was one of the things we were trying to achieve here. But it all comes back to we're trying to create that space for the community, by the community, you know, somewhere where they can thrive.
Everyone that joins, they get an automated email saying, welcome to the Sleepless community, right? And that is like what we want them to
joined the
do.
family.
Yeah.
Like, we have an open messaging system and a community board, both physical and virtual. And the idea is, put your ideas out there. If you're a singer and you want somebody to help you with making music, maybe you can collaborate. We've started bringing in DJ coaches to just try and support people, because the biggest issue with all this stuff is cost And
And
how am I going to learn all this? Like,
Yeah.
I need, and either you can't find it because it's so busy, it's unaffordable, or you can't afford it yourself. So that's what we're really trying to achieve here.
Yeah. Also, yeah. I don't know if you mentioned Did you mention availability?
Yeah.
Robin? Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's another issue. Like we're 24/7. So
Oh,
we're
wow, I
we're
didn't know
available.
that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. We're 20.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So we're available. You don't have to wait around on our like for us to on our schedules or anything. It's the space is here whenever you need it.
I
You
live
know?
so close. You
That's
guys
so
are gonna
cool.
see me at midnight.
Well, if you want to, you can. That's what
Yeah.
the space is here for. So, sleepless in name, sleepless in nature, right? So, this is
Oh,
it.
that's new
Yeah, clip
tagline.
Clip that.
Write that one down, guys. Write it down.
Yeah. Well, it's on the podcast now, so it's
Yeah.
forever.
Yes.
So one of the things as well, scrolling through your Instagram, Laura, is I see, and I don't know if I'm using the term right, like a lot of superhero content, cosplay. That's
Oh, SBFX shoots. Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Brian. I run that with him. So I've always been like really into acting and theatrics and like special effects makeup. I do all that makeup myself.
Oh, wow.
And basically him and I started doing them, and people would ask us, how'd you do that? How did you do that? And we would tell them, and then they'd go home and they'd be like, no, mine doesn't look right. And we saw people like weren't following through with it, and we had like such a burning passion for it that I was like, hey, let's run events that teach people how to do this and how to achieve the right effects. So we do almost all practical effects. We don't actually do any like AI or not too much Photoshop. I do AI and Photoshop myself, but that's outside of that. So we've done light painting workshops, we've done fire workshops, we've done stuff with Spider-Man, we've done stuff with fire demons. It's just really, really fun. And it's more about getting people to think beyond the boundaries of what they think fashion or what they think creativity or what they think a photo should be, and push them to experiment and try new things. Like every single event, someone says, is it okay if I try this? And I'm like, yes, do it. Try it. If it fails, who cares? Like, at least you're trying something. You're trying to make something no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, wow. And then does that mean that you are also a superhero fan, or you just like
Yeah. I just
What?
got my first cosplay. It's a MJ Advanced suit, and I will be joining the Spider-Verse.
Oh, is that your favorite superhero? The Spider-Man, Spider-Verse?
I actually like Iron Man, but I have red hair, and I was dubbed by the Spider community as MJ. So it was only natural that I decide to continue
Jump
that.
into that.
Give the people what they want, you know?
Are you going to is it the Fan Expo? Is that soon?
Yeah, it's in August.
That's in August.
I'm probably going.
Oh, probably going.
Probably.
Okay.
Come
yeah,
say
yeah.
hi, guys.
Yeah, because there's lots of cosplay and stuff at that
Yeah,
as well,
yeah,
isn't there?
it's
Yeah.
really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a really wholesome community too, the cosplayers.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a big cosplay scene in Toronto?
It's bigger than I knew it was.
Okay.
When I dipped my toe in, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, there's an expansive amount of cosplayers in Toronto.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. It's not a world I've overly dabbled with myself, so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
You should try it. You should try
You
it.
should try.
Everyone's invited to the next event, guys. Let's all be superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I want to ask you guys about, maybe Sarah, I'll start with yourself, your creative processes. So when you go down, sit down to do a creative project for yourself, maybe it's your music or something. What's your process when you're attempting that?
It's definitely different depending on what I'm doing. So for music, for example, normally when I'm alone, I will listen to a beat and write to it, or I'll write a poem and then kind of set it to the beat.
Okay.
But when like I said, went to this camp, it was totally different. I was like singing to the beat, freestyling, which is something I was totally not comfortable with going into it, but coming out I was. So like when I'm working around other people, I find that my creative process changes. And I always find that when I'm in creative spaces that I'm pushed to do other creative things.
Yes.
I'm I'm also a makeup artist, and I wasn't when Laura and I started Fashion Forward. And through doing Fashion
I made her
Forward,
do it. I forced her. I twisted her wrist. I was like, "You are the best
our makeup
artist.
artist
You do
flopped,
it. You can do it."
and you know, like the creative process is being spontaneous. I feel like, because that's what really pushes me to grow. Like, I'm spontaneously freestyling, I'm spontaneously doing makeup, I'm spontaneously styling this person, and then I figure out that I'm actually good at it, and then I kind of like plan to be doing that a little bit more. So yeah, I feel like spontaneity is like a big part of my creative process.
Yeah. And I think you're right as well. Environment could definitely play a big part in
The
that.
people
as-
around you, the
exactly.
energy,
Yeah, yeah.
people, how they do something, you might see it and it's completely different than how
Right.
you would do it. And it makes you think, maybe I should try that. Like, even with modeling, Laura and I both modeled for years before doing Fashion Forward. And I remember like at one of our first events, seeing like a pose a model do. And I was like, wow, I've never thought of that in all the years I've modeled. So even as a seasoned artist or model or makeup artist, when you're around other creative people,
Right.
you just naturally like see different things and you try it, and it helps you grow in your craft.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always be learning. Right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Which is kind of funny because sometimes when people think of the creative process, you almost think of like, Beethoven in a room by himself, like trying to do a masterpiece, or somebody in a room. But like, it's sometimes when you think about it, it's a very singular thing. Whereas what you're saying is like, actually, you can get a lot of value out of it being like more of a community thing as well.
Yeah, I guess for me, like people really push me with my growth. I have ADHD and I find it hard to focus for too long. So having people around me that keep me accountable and help push me and help me focus, I find it really helpful. And they always give me new ideas. And I don't get just stuck in my own ways of doing things. I like to be challenged, to try new things, to write a song in a different structure than I usually write it. And it comes out great. So yeah, no, I like just being spontaneous and yeah,
Yes.
working with it.
Well, I guess same question to yourself, Laura. What's your approach to your creative process?
So I think I infuse creativity into a lot of things. I went to art schools my whole life, where I did like visual arts, drama, music. I did pretty much every spectrum of art there is. I've tried it, and I think that what I always kind of felt limited by was actually the technology and materials to achieve it. So I've spent a lot of time actually in university being very frustrated because I was taking an integrated digital media program and I wanted to do certain things that the tech and budget would just not allow. So I found actually, like, with the evolution of AI and how far Photoshop has progressed and how like even the apps that exist to edit videos and photos now, that I'm actually able to achieve the things that have been in my head for so long. And someone pointed this out to me. They said, why don't you make art inspired by the technology instead of trying to force something that cannot be yet? So I started doing that, and I feel like that's really helped me. Like when someone says, oh, there's this like new generative AI app, like you should try it. I go take it, I try it, and then I push it to like the limits of what it can do. Like I've coded my own stuff in Stable Diffusion. I've tried like taking generative art and bringing it into Photoshop and changing everything in it. And with modeling, I think that a lot of my creative process comes from like looking at other people who have done things successfully in a way that I admire and respect. Like Coco Rocha or Stacey McKenzie, they were big inspirations to me when I was a kid starting out modeling. So I think we sort of have different ways, me and Sarah, of going about how we find our inspiration. And I think that actually helps us as a team run Fashion Forward.
I was just honing in on like, I'm definitely like with art more emotional, and like I use it as an outlet with my emotions. And I feel like, Laura, you use art to like get your ideas out, like your logic for the future. And like it is a really good pairing, I feel like, because we have two different minds, but we both are creative people that just want to bring everyone together and showcase all the diverse art forms out there.
Right.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So what are some technologies, Laura, or what are some new tools you really like at the minute?
Ooh, Everything in AI is like really cool. I know people say like, oh, AI should be like doing the laundry and the dishes so I can make my own art. And I've definitely heard a lot of feedback from particularly my followers on Instagram who say I'm destroying artists' careers because I can produce an AI generated image, edit it for 10 minutes, and then I can sell it and I can market that and I can make money off it. And people who spend their time like digitally drawing or draw by hand, they're like, oh, you're destroying this opportunity for me. I actually really disagree with that. I think that these are tools that are now in everybody's tool belt. So like going and typing a prompt into say Mid-Journey or even in Stable Diffusion, if you are able to figure that out, is not hard. So someone who doesn't have an artistic ability, someone who can't draw or someone who can't sing, who wants to say something, who wants to have a voice, who wants to be heard universally by anyone, because art is the only universal language that there is, now has access to do that. So I'm really excited about how AI has actually destroyed the boundaries of, or maybe limitations is a better word, the limitations of who has the ability to create and access art.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was actually, so at the time of recording this, I'm actually going to Canadian Music Week throughout the day, and today Deadmau5 was in and he was giving a fireside chat, and one of the things that came up was AI, and he was talking about how it's probably going to completely change how music is like cataloged and how like publishing and royalties and stuff like that, how all that is going to be collected. And if you own a bunch of catalogs right now, 5 or 10 years, that could be like really profitable. So it's interesting how AI is coming in and affecting all these creative industries now, and
it's going to change
changing everything.
A really crazy AI music song thing online, and my friend actually did it with her producer.
This deep fake Drake? Deep
Yes.
fake Drake?
Yes. She literally just made up freestyle to a beat, and it turned her voice to Drake, and it sounded like a hit. I was blown away.
There's a whole album out on YouTube, and I love it.
That's wild.
It's wild.
Yeah, I was going to say, Robin, you sent me a few tracks from that deep fake Drake album.
Like it's gonna happen,
crazy.
What's even going to be crazier is we can do holograms now for stages because we've done that. Now you're going to have long deceased artists making new songs for festivals and music festivals.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to shake the world. It's going to shake the world. I'm like really excited about it. I know some people are scared, but I think it's going to be cool.
I think people fear displacement, right? And it's very hard for somebody who has, let me play the pessimist here for a second. Somebody who's racked up a lot of debt and student loans and said to themselves, I'm going to be an artist, never quite got there, and is now doing Photoshop for, I don't know, some company. And now suddenly an AI bot can take their job. Like that is hugely scary for some people, and
I think people shouldn't be scared though. I get that, but I think that what technology has done like throughout history is it has given people an opportunity to create new, more interesting, more fulfilling jobs. So like maybe your degree is, okay, unfortunately, your degree is not going to help you, but maybe the contacts you made getting that degree are going to propel you forward further than you ever expected. And if you can control the technology that is current and relevant, you'll go further than anyone else.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are steps in between those technology advancements where there is a lot of disruption and it caused a lot of issues, but it's progress as well. I'm still seeing it at an inflection point. I think it'll bring a lot of positivity, but to get there's going to be a lot of teething issues along the way.
Do you like AI?
Yeah, I use it all the time. I use it for my day job. I use it for bouncing ideas for social media posts. I use it for SEO. Like it's like effectively having an extra.
Good.
At the flip side of that, I have to realize that I'm in a very privileged position that I'm able to, have the time to learn it, and I have uses for it. Whereas some people, like I said, as that example, will struggle from it, and or who's to say what what's going to happen in the future when it comes to, musicians and stuff. Like, Dead Man's is talking about having that catalog of music. That catalog of music will become like valuable to train an AI model to spit out more
Exactly.
stuff. But what's the difference of like, you know, uh, you know, Sarah, you've made a song thinking of you, and you feel that's very like, personal to you, but then an AI comes along, scrapes it from Spotify and makes something that's very similar, but people just find it better because of some key components. That's going to be very tough for people as well.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm in a, I mean, I love it, but I realize that there's going to be a lot of challenges.
There's going to be a lot of changes, but change is constant, and I think humans are resilient, and we will figure it out, and we will embrace the AI because it is coming.
I think so too. And if you look beyond the arts industry at like Web3 and blockchain, it's just the natural progression of where we're heading, which is really interesting.
I'm a big blockchain head, so I could get into the conversation. But we'll keep it around creativity.
Yeah,
That's for,
we'll keep it. We'll
that's
bring
for
it back. Bring
off
it back.
camera. Off camera.
We'll talk.
So I suppose will we dive a bit deeper into the event we're hosting here with you guys then on the 22nd and the 23rd? So you guys are going to be running. You're going to have the whole space. You're going to have what do you plan to set up within the studio space?
So I'll cover the first day. You'll cover the second.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the first day is the Fashion Forward Day with content creation. We're running it similar to how we've done Fashion Forward in the past, except this time we're not necessarily targeting models or people who want to try modeling. We're actually targeting music artists so that they can come and get shots for their social media. Maybe they can get a few clips of them DJing or making music, some behind the scenes work. And we are having a couple fashion designers come out. We have one who does a Miami Fashion Week, so that's pretty cool. And we've got Revamped, who is a local Toronto artist, and she upcycles fashion. It's incredible. Check it out. And the artist will get the chance to wear the clothes and be photographed by our really, really great photography community that's going to be coming out. We have big range of talent. We have everyone from beginner to expert. So a lot of the times the experts help the beginners and the beginners offer a fresh take for the experts. So it's going to be a very awesome creative content day. And at the end, everyone shares the content and you guys can use it too. And we just blast the message.
Yeah, so Camp Creative, that's what we're calling it. It's going to be Fashion Forward on Saturday, and then on the Sunday, Flo will be running the live studio sessions. So we're going to have probably around 20 artists coming, including 4 producers and engineers, and everyone will kind of be in a group in your lovely studios, and they're going to be collabing, creating songs, singing. And then we're gonna also have a listening party at the end. So we're really excited. There's some really, really cool producers coming. Frizzy's gonna be one. My friend Andre, who is from Universal, is coming. So really, really excited for that. And it's going to be a really great weekend for artists because, like we've said, you get everything, and the studio space gives you everything, right? You've got the music space, you've got the studio space, you've got the co-working space. It's really going to be a great weekend tailored for music artists.
And thanks to you guys, we've been able to make it a cost-effective event.
Yes.
Yeah,
We can offer it to them.
We want to be, like we said before, the community, by the community. So these are the sort of events we really want to host here. This is what the space is for. So really looking forward to getting you guys in, getting more people into the space, and just getting the word out there. And and thanks to you guys for agreeing to host it with us too. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, no problem.
That's been great. So we're probably coming towards the end, and one thing that we also like to do before we get to the wheel is is there anything else you want to get out there and let the folks know? Like, are there things they need to be checking out? Do they need to reach out to you for anything? Give you guys a platform as well.
Yeah, I'm Laura_alien_princess on Instagram. You can come to me for Fashion Forward, SPFX shoots, runway workshops, model empowerment workshops, AI workshops. I do it all, and I'm happy to connect with like-minded individuals. So please feel free to reach out. And yeah, reach out to Sarah too. It is good to have like-minded creative people in your world. She is Sarah_Samantha on Instagram, so check her out.
Yes, I'm Sarah_Samantha. Hit me up for makeup, music endeavors, performance opportunities, anything for Camp Creative. You can hit either of us up. And yeah,
Okay, great. Okay, and then we will move on to the main
The
event.
wheel.
we're so excited for this wheel.
The hot take wheel.
Ooh.
This is only the second time it's actually been on camera
Wow.
we started the podcast with just audio. So
How does this work? Do we
yeah,
lean
so the
in to spin
idea,
it?
yeah, so the idea is you give it a spin. Where's the camera there? Yeah, give it a spin,
like,
and then we
reach?
sort of
That is
just
so
Oh,
funny.
well,
discuss.
How
this
it
is
comes
so
up.
funny. Okay, I'm sure
I'll put
no
them
one
all
else
there.
can see how funny this is, but it's funny.
And then whatever lands on, we'll discuss. Can you read it? Do you want me to read it?
Can you read it?
I think
I
you
can't
forgot
really
the
see
K
it.
there.
Blink 182 overrated. Yes, it is missing a K there. Blink 182.
Yeah, okay, that's why I was
Overrated.
confused. My dyslexic mind was like, I probably shouldn't read that.
Yeah.
I'm a dyslexic English teacher.
We're,
Anyway.
we're all dyslexics here.
Yeah. Is it overrated? No, it's right there with Simple Plan and Avril Lavigne on my gym playlist.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was like all I blasted. All the small things.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have to agree. Never overrated in my books as
Never
well.
overrated.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think of their new album?
It's in my playlist. It's in the shuffle. I think it's pretty good. I like it. Yeah, no complaints.
Honestly, I haven't listened to the new one.
Uh,
Put it in
just hooked on
Spotify.
the end.
Spotify will eventually recommend it. You play one Blink 182
Yeah.
song, and they're like, "Would you
Yeah.
like to see the new album?"
Yeah.
I play that one song, All the Small Things.
I think
it's on my.
you should give it a listen because I think it's the first like real Blink album in like a long time, like a
like
very long time.
More relevant
gonna
for
check it
like
out.
the people who knew Blink 182.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like they grew up, we grew up, and now they're making music for us now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it feels like they're back because some of those albums they did without Tom DeLonge. I guess it was still Blink 182, but it didn't really feel like Blink 182. And now they're all back together, and then they're like properly making music all together. You really sense that in this album, and they've gone through a lot of things over the last couple of years. Mark getting cancer, and then obviously Travis with the plane crash and stuff, and you can feel like a real sense of them coming back together with the album. Yeah, it's cool. It's really good. I like it.
Check it out.
Yeah. Have you listened
it.
to it much, Robin?
I actually have not. I think I might have. Nope. I don't think I have.
Okay, would recommend. Yeah,
I
all
will.
listeners, check it
Maybe-
out.
We gotta check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to. And leave your comments, what you think about it at the bottom.
Oh
of
yeah,
the new
comments below.
Blink-182.
Yeah. So I guess with that, if you have any questions, you can. We'll make sure to put up Laura and Sarah's socials and Fashion Forward and Flow's socials. Otherwise, you can find all of our socials below as well if you have any questions for us or want to find any more info about anything. But then until next time, peace.
Sleep
Peace.
well.